ChatGPT is bullish. If I have to believe what I'm reading right here, then the altcoin market is going absolutely crazy. And this is, of course, speculating, but this is speculating based on the cycles so far and diminishing returns. And even if we take that into consideration, the altcoin market has an extremely high target. And I want to share that today. Welcome to the Fomo Factory. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Now, in my last couple of videos, I gave a lot of reasons why I think that the altcoin market is going way higher. And this is just another way of looking at it. So it's not that I'm just seeing this and I'm like, okay, let's go fully into it. I would definitely not do that. But it's a pretty interesting extra confirmation. So where did I start? I started to look at how the total crypto market usually does against its fair value, right? So the red line is the fair value of the crypto market, and the blue line is the crypto market's value, actually. Now, as you can see, in every bull market, we go way above the fair value. It's pretty clear, right? And we are now a little below it, and we can spend a lot of time below it, like we did over here before the big bull run, like we did over here before the big bull run, and we did over here before the big bull run. Now, it's nothing too crazy that we're still below it. In 2017, we broke above it in May, right? So that's really pretty much on track with the 4-year cycle. And in 2021, we did it in the halving year, or the halving year, sorry. But it was a couple months earlier. So time-wise, it's not weird, right? Now, what I did, I was looking like, hey, how many X's above the fair value did we go in every bull market? So I said that to ChatGPT. I said the first time it was 13, then it was 15, then it was 13, 23, 15, 13, 5. What's next? And ChatGPT said 3. Great, thanks. So going back to that, if this structure remains, then it is, on average, to think that we can go 3x above the fair value this time. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but of course the fair value is also going up right now. The only thing that I took into consideration, and that's always debatable, is that in my whole prediction right here, the top will be in by the end of the year, right? Why? Because that's so far also every time what happened in every cycle. So let's not ignore that. I don't think that that's wise, right? So if we look where the fair value is sitting by the end of 2025, the fair value is sitting at depending on when you exactly take it, but 4.9 trillion. So I'll round it up to 5 trillion, right? That's the fair value. Again, we always go way, way, way above it, right? And in this case, if it's this diminishing, we should go 3x above it. So that should mean that we can go to $15 trillion market cap in total. Now, you might be like, well, that's not possible. It's crypto, it's not the S&P. Crypto moves up very hard. It's possible. Of course, it's possible. Now, again, this is not a prediction. This is a speculation, but it is a speculation that is getting confirmed all over the place, right? And again, it already takes diminishing returns into account. And we just looked at what does the cycle do so far. I'm not trying to bet on that it will be better this time or whatever, right? So 15 trillion for the total crypto market. That's what we are getting from this map right here. So that should be here, right? Okay, cool. Now, how do altcoins do in that case, right? We want to know, like, how are our altcoins dominating against that 15 trillion? So we know what the altcoin market might be worth. So if we go to the others dominance, right? So this has nothing to do with Ethereum or XRP. This is everything outside of the top 10 in the top 125. What I looked at is, okay, first time we went to 2.5% dominance. Next time we went to 12.5% dominance. Last cycle we went to 19.6% dominance, right? So this is going up instead of going down. So going back to ChatGPT, I say, what's next? 2.5, 12.45, 19.32. ChatGPT tells me the next number should be 23.11. So according to this sum, the altcoin market can dominate with 23.11%. We're now at 8. So might be a little hard to believe. But hey, then again, when we were here sitting at 4, 19 was harder to believe, right? And it happened. So 23, cool. Now, what's 23% of that $15, $15 trillion? That's around 3.5 trillion. So according to this, the altcoin market at the top of the cycle could be worth $3.5 trillion, right? It's not a crazy moonboy target. It's not low as well. Again, it's average with diminishing returns in mind. Let's go to the altcoin market and let's see, can we see some type of confirmation right here? We can, right? Because what you'll notice is we have this upper trend line, right? From this top to the first peak to the second peak. Guess where 3.5 trillion comes in by the end of the year? There, exactly there, right? So the math that we did so far gets confirmed by a trend line, which is so far intact. That's pretty interesting if you ask me, right? Another thing that I was looking at was, okay, yeah, but you know, what are the fib levels saying? Because fib levels can often be used to predict prices. And you might be like, you cannot predict prices. You can predict human psychology and when they buy, when they sell, when they play even, where most people bought, so where they're likely not going to sell or buy. And therefore, trend lines, resistance, support, fib levels do work. And what's funny that if you take a look at the last, not the last, but the 2017 cycle, right? And we take the fib level there, what happened is in the next bull market after that, we pretty much, small difference, but topped out at the 7.618. Cool. So what? Well, you might feel it coming, but if we look at this is where the 7.618 is coming, right? So it is first, again, look what the cycle usually does, right? That's the most realistic way of predicting something. It won't be the right way because there is no right way. But hey, that's what happened before, right? Then we take into consideration that there are diminishing returns, right? We take that average. Then we look at, okay, that's the answer. What is the trend line saying? That's saying the same thing. And then we apply the fib levels, and this is also telling the same thing. Now, I know that, again, making this video right now is not popular. I can better do this when the market is going up, because otherwise people will never believe that it will get that high. But look, the thing is that if you look how many X's this is from the absolute bear market lows, it's about 4,600%. I think you might be like, well, that's 47x. Can't happen. Look, last cycle, it did 8,500%, right? So also that's diminishing hard, right? That's 2x diminishing. That's quite a lot. So again, this is speculation. This is not my prediction, but based on this, I do feel like this is the most realistic outcome. And it can go very fast, right? If you've been in a bull market before, you know that, like, yeah, in a real euphoric bull market, things get kind of overvalued, right? That people, they have a certain price in mind and it goes above that, and then every day you're refreshing and screenshotting your portfolio, etc. Like, it could go absolutely crazy, right? So it's definitely possible. Now, what I made a lot of other videos about lately, and what kind of, backs it up for me, is that if you look like, hey, we are already from the bottom, we already are up 200% from the absolute bear market lows. We are already up 3x, right? So from this point, we only need a 14x, right? Yeah, if you look at the social risk, so the retail, and these are the people that pump our bags, because every time retail goes up, alt season all of a sudden shuts, like it goes up, right? But it's now pretty much at zero, right? So we have so much room to go up to make all these retailers come in and pump our bags that, aiming for a 40x on the market in general is not that weird, considering that there's now absolutely fucking nobody, and that could bring in a lot. Also, what we lately discuss more and more is that if you look at the alt season index, this is sitting in full Bitcoin season right now. And, the best time to get into altcoins, if it loads, by the way, but the best time to get into altcoins is, of course, when it's full Bitcoin season. And when it's full altcoin season, you might want to convert them to Bitcoin. I don't know why it's not loading. This is not good for the content right here. It's such a disappointing thing. It was going so smooth so far, but anyway, it's sitting really low. Just believe me. Source, trust me. Okay, so there are multiple calculations based on multiple different things that give the same target, and then we have, the altcoin season index, the sentiment being really low, the retail being low in general, the momentum indicators really down a lot, the timing in the market, backing it all up. So is it realistic to expect this? Look, what I won't do is say like, okay, this is the target, don't sell before we get here, right? Because you might not hit the target. You might do worse than average, right? We could do this. We could, of course, also do a little better than average and go above it, right? Or we go perfectly there. That's what I don't know, right? But I do think that it's also important to have a target in mind which isn't too low as well, because you didn't go through all of this shit to walk away with a 3x on your portfolio, but first getting scammed, getting wrecked, having a little luck and riding it up and down again and getting bored out of the market and all of that for a 3x. Then you could have better just bought gold and waited for 2 years, right? Like, that's it. So have somewhat of a realistic target in mind, and based on what we just saw, this is, I don't know if it's the most likely, but it's the most realistic target for me, right? And everything close to it is fine as well. That's totally fine. But 3.5 trillion, give or take. Now, what could that mean for your altcoins? Look, it depends on what altcoins you are in, right? Because you might now also be a little disappointed from this place it's 15x. I'm a DCA out, so I maybe walk away with an 8x. That's not nearly enough for me. Look, this is the top 125, excluding the top 10, right? So these are the higher caps. If you are in certain lower caps, and I don't mean coins with a $10 million market cap, but if we go to here it is, look, Bitcoin season, right? But if we go to CoinGecko and you look, for example, outside of the top 125, these coins are already considered low cap coins, right? If we these are not in the others chart because they don't even add up. So even a Brett or a Mantra OM, right? They already are lower cap and they can get more gains. You don't have to look at these really, really, really low caps. A coin with a $400 million market cap could hit 100x in the next market. Sure, right? Like, I'm not saying that every one of them will, but definitely it could. An example that I gave earlier is that if you look at Cardano, in the last bull market, it was sitting at $1 trillion market cap. People were probably like, yeah, that's already too high for me, right? And it 100x, right? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, right? That's getting injected into the market right there. So be mentally prepared that a bull market can go really crazy and that most people don't even necessarily get wrecked in the bear market, right? They just feel like, okay, it pumped. Let me take my 3x profits and get out, right? And they're like, oh, I'm such a genius. And then all of a sudden it's it's here, right? Or here. And people feel like, okay, let me YOLO back in. You know how it goes, right? Then it does this. People panic sell, lose their money, and then it goes up again. They maybe buy back in again, and then they go into a bear market and they lose it all. that's the emotional ride that people are going to take. Because when things are going up and everything is euphoric, you do not have time to think, right? You have to have a plan. So I would say make a plan, right? And not necessarily to chill it, but if you do look in the Alpha Factory, there's a WAP link down below. We discuss strategies more and more, also with the GTFO platform, where you can really put in your exit plan. To get out of the market. For example, I have set my targets for S Fund, for example, right? I said like, hey, this is my average entry price, and at this price I want to sell, at this price I want to sell this, and then my average entry or average exit actually is going to be this. Am I okay with that or not? Cool. Best way to do it, in my opinion. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. I thought it was pretty interesting. Let me know. Do you think that this is doable? If yes, nice. If no, why not? Right? Let me know what the reason might be that you think like, yeah, no, it's going lower or higher or whatever, right? And if you want to like the video, I would appreciate that. Also, by the time this video drops, Blame Yourself is out now. So do check it out on YouTube, Spotify, whatever. I'm gonna leave some links down below. It's my first single about crypto, about people getting wrecked. It's funny as fuck, I think. So you should definitely check it out. Put it in your playlist on Spotify. I think you're gonna love it. Maybe not, but you only find out if you listen at least once. So thanks for watching. Take care.